and welcome to the 71st episode of the But I'm Knitting podcast. My name is Ramona. I'm a knitter from Toronto, and welcome to my corner of the crafting world. So, it's been a week. This weekly schedule thing is kind of working for me. Hopefully I'll be able to upkeep it for even longer, but I've been doing pretty good with it. Well, let's see. What do I have to show today? I have 2 finished objects and a work in progress. No new cast-ons, but I've got some things I've been keeping my eye on. So, let's get started. So, over the past, I think since maybe about January-ish, I cast on 2 pairs of socks around the same time. And guess what? I finished them all. This is great when you have 2 sets of sock blockers. You can actually get to show them all off at the same time. So, we will start with this one. And this is from Biscotte Yarns. It's Écharpe de Sorcier Serpent. It's a Slytherin colorway for the for Harry Potter universe. So I had the previous sock already done, and I worked on the second sock. Let me show it from this way because it shows the thing. Last time you had seen it, I was here just past the beginning of the heel. So I made it all the way down the foot, and I put on the toe last night because I was determined I was going to have it finished for today. So as you can quite clearly see, these are the colors for it. It's a green, dark green, a light gray, a dark gray, light gray, and back to green again. So it just keeps repeating all the way down. For the heel cuffs and toes, I used Cascade 220. It's a number that's associated with it, but it's like a really light gray. That's what I use for the heel cuffs and toes. No, that's not it. I have extra around here somewhere, but like I'm probably going to use it for a lot of different socks because I like the way it feels. It feels really nice and soft. I used 2.0 millimeter slash 2.0 millimeter hold on, oh, there they are. I could just show you the needles themselves. 2.0 millimeter higher sharp, or the 0 US circular needles. They're finally free, so that means I can cast on a new pair of socks. So those are done. So that's 1 pair of socks done, 1 set of needles free. Next, I have, this is also by Biscotte Yarns, both socks. This is Apple Heart is the name of the colorway. Last time you had seen, I was there, just a little bit of a repeat, like half a repeat before I cast on the toes. So I did that last night as well, because I told you I was determined to have this thing finished by today. So, up here, I'm not certain what yarn this was. It was a leftover I had, a dark red, but I didn't have that much of it, so that's why I only did it for the cuffs. For the heel, I did leftovers I had. This was Woolme's Twin in the colorway 13AL or AL13. I used the same size needles that I used for my Slytherin socks. But these ones are Addy Sock Rockets that I used. Same size. And this is what I mean, like, this is what happens to me. This is no longer straight. This is what happens to me with every time I've used any nickel-based needle. They seem to bend in my hand. I don't know. Like, I know I've heard of people a while back where they have an issue with the smell of it or something like that. Yeah, I've never had the issue with the smell. I have the issue where the needles pretty much bend in my hand. I think it's only with the thinner needles that I have had this problem. It's happened with Knitpick needles I had as well. Same thing. They're nickel ones that did the same thing to me. So I don't know, but the stainless steel ones that I had from, like, I get from Xiaogu or Haya, never had that problem. It's only with nickel based ones, so I don't know. So that's 2 projects done. And see, okay, these ones, it lines up. Everything lines up. It works perfectly. Right? Hold on. Tip it that way. Everything lines up. You can see that quite clearly. Yesterday, I noticed as I was working on the foot, I'm like, these socks don't match up. But the thing is, I did this out of the same, I did these out of the same 50-gram skein. So that's 1 pair of socks, less than 50 grams of the main color. I was so excited. So I still have a full one that I have not used. Actually, do I have the leftover for that one? I think I put it in the bag. Did I throw it in the bag? I don't know where I threw it. Oh, but this is the Cascade, it wasn't 220, Sock Heritage. So, yeah, so that was what I used for the heel cuffs and toes of the Slytherin socks. I don't know where the other thing is. I don't know if I'm really willing to turn. Oh, there it is. This is my leftover of my 50-gram skein for my Slytherin socks. That's what I have left over. I have the other ones still. They're completely untouched. So you never know. I may make another pair of socks, or I don't know. I'll find something to do with it. I'm not quite certain what I'm going to do with it yet because it's self-striping. I don't know if I can really use it for anything else without the striping just not looking right. So that's how much I have left. I have quite a bit left over for the apple heart socks. Oh, I was going on about how the line, they don't match up. Let's see if I can do this. So from the cuff, can I do it this way? Nope, that's the wrong direction. Do it this way. Okay. And line them up, and okay. So you can, now this is just too hard to see. I put up a picture on Instagram last night. Yesterday while I was at work, showing basically how different these socks are. Because up until about the part of the heel, putting in the heel, they're generally the same. Not that much of a difference. But then it wasn't until afterwards when I was working on it, I realized, I think, yeah, this one is a little bit shorter, right? And then as you go further down, you start seeing how they don't line up anymore. So I'm like, okay, does it really matter whether or not they line up? They're going in my shoes. I don't really care that much. I'm like, I'm going to leave it. I know what the cause is. I generally know what the cause is. I don't think it's a tension issue. It's the misalignment of this. And also considering, like, and it's because I've dyed self-striping yarn. It's a lot of work to get the yarn lined up for that. And I've pretty much determined that like, sometimes you can go that little bit off, and that little bit off, like if you don't get the loops exactly perfectly lined up before you start to dye, there's always a chance that color might be a little bit longer than it is on something else. And it's also, this is also from the same 50-gram skein. Because if she does it like Mustache Yarns does this, she does them as two half skeins that are like exactly dyed together so that they all match up. That's what was done with this one from Biscotte Yarns. That's how I got it in the skein. However, I use the same 50-gram skein. I didn't touch the other one, because if I had touched the other one and started at the same point, they probably would have lined up a lot better. So it doesn't matter that much. I like them. I think they're cute. So that's everything for the socks. Next, I've got my So Faded sweater. So last week you had seen I had finished the body. Guess what I did? I cast on the sleeve. Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry, my needle's getting a little bit tangled in this. Let me just pull that out there. And pull this one out here. Okay, so this is the So Faded sweater by Andrea Mowry. And so I started on the sleeve. And this is it, with all of its rattling glory. So, I had a viewer actually told me about the issue with the arm sleeve, about it decreasing quite quickly. I'm always concerned about that because honestly, my arms are they're not small, they're big, and it's not muscle, unfortunately. So I decided to take the chance and I extended the knitting even part, and then I started to decrease. And then I decreased at a more rapid rate because if you, honestly, this is my thing, like, closer to my trunk, my body's bigger, but then when you go out to the extremes, it gets really small really fast. Like, my hands. I have a 17-year-old, no, he turned 17 this year, a 17-year-old brother. From the time he was about 11, his hands have dwarfed mine. My hands are tiny. Same thing with my feet. They're just small. So, like, it leading down to my arm, it's also quite small in comparison to up here. So I think I'm making okay adjustments. Mind you, this is kind of brave considering I've never finished a sweater. But every time I try it on, seems like it's turning out okay. So I'm just, hopefully by next week I'll have finished this first sleeve and started on the second one. I make no guarantees about about finishing the second sleeve, but I hope I will. I have been enjoying working on this. I'm debating, because right now this is my solo project, because I finished my socks. I have nothing else I'm actively working on. So I'm hoping for the best. We'll have to see. I actually, because I was coming close to the end of my socks, I started looking through my balled up sock stash, trying to figure out what I'm going to knit with next. Hold on, let me take this out. And of course, while I'm looking, I'm like, ooh, I can make another So Faded sweater. Let me just sit back a bit. So I've come up with colors for my next one. No, you stay there so I remember what kind of yarn you are. Sorry. Okay. That knocked a little bit out of alignment, but I think it will be okay. And the last one. Okay. Oh. Okay. So, since I realized I can get the sew faded done in 3 colors, in 4 colors, I'm thinking I want to make another one. So, this is what I've come up with so far. Okay, let's see if I can get this lined up. So there's these two, and this one, and this one. Is that good? Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. Put that down. I like them very much. So I may do another one. I may cast on another one, but I also have another project that I want to do. But actually, I need some help. I need some advice, if you guys can help me. So, hold on. Let me open up my Ravelry, because I have it loaded up, saved on my page. So, no, not that. So, no, that's so faded. So, the next thing that I want to do is the Camaro sweater by Tanis Lavallee. Let me see if I can find one good picture of it. Oh, okay, I'll use this one. Yeah, it's just because I don't want the hair covering the sweater. So, I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and remember to... Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it, sort of. But that's pretty much it. I'll try and... You know what? I'll put in a picture. But the problem with it is that it requires DK yarn. Most of my yarn is fingering weight. So I was wondering if, because every time I try and look this up online, I can't seem to get a proper answer, or it's not giving me the information I'm looking for. I just want to know, does 2 strands of fingering weight equal DK? Because if it does, then I'm great and I'm set. Because then I'll just use sock yarn for my stash. Otherwise, I'd have to go out and purchase DK yarn just to make the sweater. Yeah. And I think if I do the fingering weight one, then I'm probably actually going to have to swatch. I didn't swatch for this, and I was ecstatic about not having to do it. But I guess if I have to, I could do the math and make sure everything works out. I'm not looking forward to it. So I'm hoping for the best. And hopefully I will get what I would like to get, because that would be awesome. Because then I can just look for other colors that I have, and if I just try and blend together what I have. And if that's the case, this may be my year of the sweater, as opposed to, well, yeah, it was year of the sweater. It's becoming year of the sweater this year. Last year was year of the shawls, because I made a bunch of shawls and I don't wear any of them. And previous years, it's always been socks, and more socks. So I only have like 1 shawl still on the needles. I have no idea where I put it. I'd actually have to find it, and maybe I should finish it eventually. It's a beautiful colorwork one. I think, is it Whiskified? I think it is. By Melanie Berg. That was the one that I have. I think it's Melanie Berg. I have that somewhere. It was the one I did with a black yarn and a yellow yarn. I just can't quite remember where I put it. It's in one of these bags. Off to the side. And now, of course, I'm looking to see. Oh, yeah. First bag I picked up. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. I'll put this one, bring it back into my regular rotation. And I'll maybe only cast on 1 pair of socks. So, yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. So, this one is, hold on, was it Whiskified? No, it wasn't Whiskified. Because I remember, no, Spark of Gray, that's what it was. It was Spark of Gray. So, it's a lot of repeats. Like, I was on the 12th out of 19 repeats. And they just keep getting longer and longer. So, I think I'm just going to need to, maybe I'll just cast on 1 more project, like a simple sock pattern. So if there's any of the times that I don't need to really focus on what I'm doing, I just need to do a leg or need to do a foot, then I'll be prepared and I'll get that done. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the Sparks of Gray shawl, or continue it. Ooh, and my plans for socks. What I've decided is, since I did the Slytherin colorway, I think I want to try and do all of the house colors. I haven't gone back to check. I'm going to check tomorrow, and if they have it, I'm going to buy another skein from the Écharpe de Sorcier collection from Biscot Yarns. I don't know which house I will do. It will be whichever one I have. I'm probably going to do it in the same, just plain, and leave it at that. Same plain vanilla socks. Nothing fancy about it. So, yeah, I think, but the only thing I want to do is I want to get heel cuffs and toes that go with it. So, hold on. Okay, so I've already determined if it's like Ravenclaw, I'm probably going to do blue for the heel cuffs and toes. And I'm pretty certain I have some here somewhere that I can get to you that would probably go with it very nicely. For goldenrod. Don't ask me why I thought that. For Gryffindor, I'm probably going to do red. No, not red. I didn't want to do red because it's always overdone. I want to do like a goldish yellow type of color for the heel cuffs and toes. And then for the, that's the last one, Hufflepuff. The usual color is yellow, but I think that's going to look too close to the gold. So I'm going to see if I can find, I know I'll have black left over from this, I'll do that with it. So yeah, that gives me an incentive to hurry up and finish this. So I have yarn to do for the heel cuffs and toes for the, Hufflepuff socks. So I am, I pre-planned all of my stuff. I'm looking forward to this now. So I got 2 new sweaters that I want to do. One I could cast on as soon as I finish this one. The Camaro, I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Or maybe what I could do is if I can't do the doubling up of yarn, I'll just buy the DK weight yarn little by little. And then once I have enough, then I'll, really get started on that one. And then just do everything according to the measurements. Mind you, I still have to actually get the pattern itself. Let me think. Talked about the sweater, which I'm going to be working on. I got the 2 sweaters that I want to cast on. I got my plans for my next Hufflepuff socks. Yeah. So maybe that's what I'll do. So that's 2 socks for January, February, and a little bit of March. Maybe I'll do 1 more self-striping. No, actually I got quite a few self-stripings, but I'll do, get my next set for this one. Plus, you know what? I think I know which ones I'm going to do. Self-striping I've had sitting inside my bin for quite some time. This one. I believe I got these from Nicole C. Mendez. I got it on Etsy quite some time ago. I don't know if she's still on Etsy. I haven't actually looked. If it is, then I'll put her Etsy shop down at the bottom. But I got this from her years and years ago. So this is enough to make a pair of socks done in 50-gram skeins. So these are nice and pastel. It's like a pastel rainbow. And yeah, I am just missing the, what is it? Sorry, for the month of February, everybody was doing a lot of rainbow things. Mostly for an awareness for, I think it's, actually I don't even remember what it is because it seems like there's so many things. But yeah, I'm going to probably do these self-striping socks, these ones, and the next Biscot yarns. So that is it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to talk about. Ooh. Okay, let's go on to what I've been watching for the past week. So last week, did I? I think last week I said I finished One Day at a Time. And of course, I love that show. I found out one of my coworkers, she watches it too. And she's only on season 2. She loves it and thinks it's absolutely hilarious. I think it's such a good show. So I remember I talked about it because I was there like where they left everything. It just seemed like everything is just so final as to how things are going. Like if they wanted to finish the show and never continue with it again, all the characters are at the point where it's just so like, okay. But like I was really wishing that it would go on for another season. Yesterday I finished Umbrella Academy. I'm sorry, but that show is awesome. I've already heard them talking about season 2, and I'm glad about that. And some things that I was suspecting, I was right. There were a lot more funny moments. I enjoyed the show immensely. I don't know what I'm going to watch now. Although one of my coworkers said I should watch, what was it? Mortal Instruments, because the guy who plays Klaus is in that too. I'm like, well, I'll think about it. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. Although I am now wanting to watch, what is it? Ricky Nikki Dickie and Dawn or something like that. Because the guy who plays number 5, that's the first thing that he was in. And I think that show and Umbrella Academy are the only two things he's been in. And I loved him in Umbrella Academy. So I think I might be willing to sit through. I think it's a Nickelodeon show that quite clearly is not aimed at my age group. I'll give it a try. Because honestly, because I did like Victorious. I enjoyed that immensely. And I just watched that with my sister last year. And just based on the few episodes that I watched, I thought it was hilarious. I think I might be willing to go through it. Mind you, I doubt they'll be singing and dancing like there was in Victorious, but whatever. And yeah, I think that's going to be everything for today. Oh, wow, I managed to make it up to, how much is it? Oh, actually, I can see the timer like on the top of the screen, like about there, but because of the white light, I can't see it unless I sit forward. So, oh wow, 20 minutes of me just talking, and I don't think there's anything really to cut out. Thinking off the top of my head, anything else? Anything else? No, everything seems like it's doing good. So that'll be everything for today. Thank you for spending your knitting time with me. Hope to see you again next week. Yeah, hopefully next week. And have a good day. Bye.